your first WiT?
Yes, it is.
How does it feel?
It's great. It's great to be here. Great to see everyone. Yeah, it's a very good, crowd. Very vibrant, very dynamic.
Fantastic. Okay, so you spent 15 years at Singapore Airlines, rising through the ranks. You were in digital marketing, and actually, this is really fresh. Up to last month, you were heading distribution.
That's right.
Right, and then this month, you have a new role in operations.
Yes.
Congratulations, now managing the customer-facing role. So
yes.
Instead of reaching out to customers, now you're going to be in the customer-facing role. So it's really, really interesting process. So how will the sum of your experience in marketing and distribution, you think, empower you in this new role?
I think it's a lot about understanding what goes on behind the scenes, how we have been selling our product, how we have been marketing our product, and making sure that whatever that we have been selling to our customers translates to actual service that we actually deliver on board. So when I talk about myself moving into the operation area, I'm actually managing the cabin crew side of things. So I actually work very closely with our cabin crew people to actually bring on board or bring to life the service that the Singapore Airlines people have always been talking about. So having been through marketing, having been through distribution, where I work a lot with our distribution partners, where we keep talking up what does Singapore Airlines really mean. In my current role, is really about bringing to life all those things that we've been talking about.
Right, really delivering the customer experience. So how many crew are you responsible for?
We are 9,000 crew strong now, still recruiting, still anyone that's interested, please feel free to join our recruitment drive. But yeah, we are 9,000 crew strong now.
Right, okay. So let's talk about distribution. Since this is WiT, right? So in the time that you were in distribution, a lot of changes, right? A lot of acronyms like NDC, OOSD, GDS, OTAs, all those acronyms, right? What do you think is the most exciting thing that's happening in airline distribution right now?
I think there's a lot of things that are very exciting now. NDC obviously is a very core part of the whole transformation. But airlines are moving beyond NDC. We are going into areas one order management system, the whole retailing beat. So I think a lot of exciting things are happening. And not to say AI is also coming in and AI is disrupting how we are selling, how we are searching, how we are purchasing things. So all these things are actually shaping up how distribution should be for the future generation.
Right. SIA was really very advanced in NDC, right? You were really one of the first.
We like to think we are.
Okay. So how's the adoption really going?
It's going great. Just before I left, we were tracking really, really good numbers. We crossed the 50% threshold, which is something that we take it as a huge achievement on our part. We went into this with a very calculated, a very measured kind of approach where we don't know what we're gonna get. We know we want to do this and we want to get the traction, but we don't know how the trade is gonna react to it. So when we actually pushed out the program, it was a very slow start, but once we got the program out to the trade, the ramp up came very quickly. So we got our first 20%, then we went on to 30%, and then now we are at 50%.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the target there? Is there a target?
Obviously, we want to reach that 100% mark where we converted every legacy, transactions into an NDC transaction. So that's something that the team will continuously track. No longer my KPI, but it's something that I will trust the next distribution team to take this forward.
Okay. So you talk about a lot of the exciting things happening, but is there a worrying thing happening? So you can leave that worry behind, so you can talk about it now. Well, what's the most worrying thing happening in airline distribution?
I would say it's not so much a worry, but things are happening within the space. And one of the things that is happening within the space is actually caused by NDC, surprisingly. I think with NDC and with a lot of legacy tech that are happening, there are just so many things that are happening in the industry that is causing a lot of fatigue to our travel partners. Do I book this airline on NDC? Do I book this airline on Edifact? There are so many content going down the channel. There are so many aggregation to be done. So I think this is causing a lot of fatigue, a lot of confusion, a lot of things that are going on within the travel agency trade. So that's one. The other thing that is happening is really more on the online space, where obviously we've seen a lot of proliferation of like, the online players coming in, not just OTAs, but also like, online booking systems for the corporates, like, or for the non-corporates. So there are a lot of online booking systems are currently now in the market. So that is disrupting the market a little bit because a lot of things are going online now. So less like, brick and mortar, more like things that are happening in the digital channels.
Right. So, I mean, for our audience, that's exciting because, we're in the digital world. What is SIA's e-commerce strategy? Like, what are your key priorities in ensuring this optimal distribution mix? What are you at direct now, for example, and other channels?
Say, yeah, we have a pretty good like mix. I don't think we will ever have like, a optimal number. Like we are not tracking towards like, 100% like, e-commerce or like, 100% like direct channel. We don't have like, such views of like, how we want our distribution mix to be like. The most optimal mix would be like, wherever our customers want to be. If our customers want to book online, they come online, they can get the content online. If they want to book through their travel partners, they're free to book through their travel partners as well. So it's wherever our customers want to be. But I would say like, right now where we are tracking, we are seeing pretty healthy numbers. Like, we see like a very good proportion of our customers booking online with us on our own like, website. We see a good proportion coming in through like, our online travel partners. So that's like, your OTAs, your like, online booking tools. There is also another portion that's coming through like, the traditional partners, your TMCs, your like, brick and mortar agents. So the mix is pretty healthy. I wouldn't say that it's skewed towards like, any particular one.
What would you bet on for, higher growth in which
channel?
For
sure, like, it's going to move direct. It's
going
to
move
move
direct?
online. It's going to move online.
Online, direct?
No, online, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Whether is it direct or whether is it through like, our online partners, that's like, anyone's game or anyone guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this morning, I mean, we talked a lot about, actually we had a lot of the OTAs, in the session, and everybody is kind of recognizing that this is a moment of reckoning, right? The AI is really going to disrupt OTAs, intermediaries, right? And basically they're saying that now they have to invest in disrupting themselves or else be disrupted, and they're investing in things that they would normally not invest, right? Yet, the OTAs are all getting stronger in flights, right? You got Trip, Expedia, Booking, Agoda, all going in. Even Ryanair, which has always hated OTAs, they are making partnerships with everyone, right? What's your thought on OTAs? Do you think they will be disrupted in the age of LLMs, in the age of AI?
I mean, I wouldn't say like it's just the OTAs that are impacted. Like even airlines ourselves, like, with AI coming in, we are disrupted. Like, how customers are searching for our content now is very different from how they used to like, just go onto Google and type like, flights from like Singapore to Bangkok. Like, they are using like, chat tools to try to like, book their travel, try to search for their travel. So it's not just the OTAs are impacted. Like, airlines, anybody that's really operating within the digital space, we are actually like, impacted by like, what AI is doing and what the future of like, retailing should be. So we are trying to do what we can to try to keep up with like the trends. If we don't, then that will be like, it will be a situation where we're just not keeping up and we will lose out then.
So how are you using AI to make your site sort of more natural language? Where I can say, I want to, whereas right now on SQ, I still have to, pick the city, pick the flight, and all that. How are you using LLMs to change that, or AI to change that?
So I think we are still quite at the beginning of like this exploratory phase, but quite a few things are happening. So the first, we're obviously looking into things like agentic AI. When agentic AI is in the picture, do we still need our customers to be like, typing in one by one just to like, book where they want to go? It could be just like, wherever that you are coming from, we know what you're searching for, and when you come into our website, the agent just like, book everything for you. So that's one piece that we are looking at. The other piece that we're looking at is with more intelligence built in, with AI coming in, like by the time the customer comes into your website, you already know what they're looking at. You know their profile, their historical trends, what kind of fare types they usually book. So we are using all this data, all this intelligence to just facilitate that booking experience to make it more seamless for our customers. So there are different work streams going on the whole search front. Like how do we make the search engine like preference SQ better than any competitors out there? Because obviously the search patterns are different. You don't search anymore. You're just commanding commanding an agent to book a certain itinerary. So how do we use that to actually preference SQ? So those are different areas that we are exploring to see how we can make use of that to better what we do for our customers today.
So in the panel earlier, I think it was Vikas who said that if we flip it, it's about not the user going to the platform, but it's about the platform coming to the user, right? So at some point, would I expect that Singapore Airlines would WhatsApp me or email me and say, hey, Hoon, I noticed that, you've always been traveling once every 2 months, but we noticed 3 months you haven't been traveling. What's wrong? Would you like a break in Bali? Could we expect that kind of a personal...
To a certain extent, we are already doing that, but not so intrusive. So today, if you haven't been coming back to us, we do send you our promotions, for example, just as miss us, come back to us, we have a fair deal that's running. Yeah,
but that's sort
not
of
so
blanket,
intrusive.
though. It's not it's not so personal, isn't it?
Yes.
So because earlier in the presentation by Philip of OAG, I think one of the things that he said is, travelers will always want lower price for the same quality, but tomorrow the deal is personal. Mm-hmm. So when can we get to that? Personal fares.
Yeah, personalized travel, personalized fair deal is something that as part of, I wouldn't say it's an AI-driven thing. It's something that will happen. Today, airlines are already using things like dynamic pricing, and with dynamic pricing comes that whole personalization bit. The question is whether our customers are ready for it. And it's something that within the airline, we have been thinking about it, we've been exploring, but we have not quite come to a conclusion whether our customers are actually ready. Because it could be that, today you're sitting beside your one of your friend and you see an entirely different price, even though you are traveling to that same destination. So our customers really ready. So it's something that we are not quite certain yet. But the technology is there. Personalizing the offers and the deals down to a specific individual is something that we can already do.
Right. It's interesting because just now in the session with Agoda as well, I mean, Omri was saying, yes, the tech is there, we can do this, but, it's the customer ready.
Exactly.
So you've got to have the product that's really compelling for 80% of customers before you put it out there, right?
Exactly.
So it's about customer adoption. But at the same time, you have a big influence on your customers. You have one of the most amazing loyalty programs. Some people, the next generation might call it old school, walled gardens, but it's a big part in SIA's playbook, right? And basically now you have, people can earn PPS points when buying on Chris Shop, booking on Pelago, and then you also have Chris Plus now, where we pay with Chris Plus and then you get. So how do all this play into distribution and operations and then sort of creating that moat around your loyal customers?
I think today a lot of the loyalty stuff that we are doing and in our program still very much sits within the airline ecosystem. We have not expanded this out to other distribution partners. So a lot of what you can do with your KrisFlyer stuff, you have to still do it on a direct channel. And that's something that we have made a conscious decision to do that because a lot of the loyalty data are very specific to the individual, is very guarded. It's we want to safeguard that, and that's why it hasn't gone out to any distribution partner yet. It's not to say that we can't look at it in the future. In the future it could be that regardless of where you are able to access your loyalty information so that you can use your loyalty profile to also book on other channels. So that's something probably that will come in the future, but it's not something that we are exploring now.
Okay, so what do you think? Next gen loyalty, is it points, is it personalization, or is it vibe?
Vibe.
Vibe? Okay. People are searching by vibe right now too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to look 5 to 10 years ahead, what will winning in distribution look like for airlines?
I think it will be, in my personal opinion, it will be creating a lot of win-win partnerships with our partners out there. The whole purpose of SQ even investing so much in creating this technology, even NDC, even things like One Order, is about bettering the technology that we have on the back end so that we can work better with our travel partners. It's not about like, SQ winning or like, I think we had this question earlier, like, airlines are thinking of like, winning in like, this whole distribution game. But it's not just about SQ or like, any airline winning for the matter. It's about like, how do we as an industry, like with SQ, with our trade partners, how do we collaboratively, like, make this work for everyone? And how do we, like, extract more business for everyone so that everybody, like, have a bigger pie? So in my opinion, like, really the future, in the next 5 to 10 years, like, what will truly matter is having, like, more collaborative, more, like, winning proposition for both us as well as with our trade partners.
Right, and in terms of partners, I mean, we talked a lot in the loyalty session, I think with hotels just now too, is talking about how people are actually looking for experiences now, experience versus, just the flight versus, so what is SQ's approach to experiences, creating experiences for your loyal customers?
We have quite a few things, like, so I'm not too sure whether the audience is actually familiar with Pelago. So we actually invested in Pelago like a couple of years ago because we believe that like, people are not just flying for the sake of flying. Like, they go to a destination, they want to like, see things in the destination, like, after certain attractions, for example. We want to be able to offer that holistic like, experience. Like you're not just buying flights from us, but through SQ, you can buy flights, you can also buy like, your attraction passes, you can buy hotels, you can buy like, things that makes the experience wholesome. Yeah, so that was why we went into it, like, and it's actually that platform is doing pretty well. Like, we see pretty good traction. Like, our customers do, like, purchase a ticket and they go on to buy an experience with Pelago. So that's our way to see how to like, really fulfill that end vision for our customers to provide the end-to-end journey.
Okay, all right. So let's wrap up with rapid fire, okay? Aisle, seat, or window?
Oh, for me, it's always aisle. Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure when flying?
I would say pretending that Wi-Fi doesn't exist and so that like, I have my me time on the plane.
Dream destination you've never flown to?
Bhutan. Yeah, I've always wanted to go there, but yeah, have never had the opportunity to.
Okay, will Gen Alpha book travel through a traditional OTA or on social entirely?
On social, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will in-flight meals be better or worse in 20 years?
I think
because
you can
now
only
you're in operations. you are managing 9,000 cabin crew.
It will only get better. It can only get better. Yeah.
It can only get better.
Yeah.
Please join me in thanking Charlene for joining WiT. Thank you so much, Charlene.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
For the next 2 hours.